Imagine working for 40 years and realizing you lost over $300,000 just because of one small mistake. The worst part, most people don't even know they're making it. See, we all work way too hard to be losing money over avoidable mistakes. And I guarantee at least one of these 7 money mistakes is secretly draining your wealth. Maybe even all of them. So stick around, because if you miss just one, you might overlook the exact mistake that's keeping you broke. Let's start with mistake number 7, a sneaky financial trap that could be costing you more than your house. It's called the lawnmower scam. Imagine hiring someone to mow your lawn. The first time they charged $50. Cool, fair deal, right? But then they come back with a better idea. Hey, instead of paying me a flat fee, just give me 1% of your home's value every year for as long as you live. Would you ever agree to that deal? Of course not. And yet, this is exactly what happens when you pay a financial advisor a percentage-based fee. Let's break this down with real numbers, and I hope you're sitting down for this. Let's say you start investing at age 25 and put away $600 a month until you retire at 65. With a 7% average return, you'd have roughly $1.5 million by retirement. Not too bad, right? Yeah. But I want you to use a compound calculator now to calculate how much you'll be paying the financial investor for that period. Drum rolls. You'll be paying over $430,000 in fees. For reference, that's more than a brand new Ferrari. It's more than a down payment on a mansion. Enough pizza to last you several lifetimes. And it's the same as throwing away 30% of your total investment growth. The craziest part is that financial advisors love keeping this fee vague, so most people have no idea how much they're actually paying. Here's the thing. When you go to a restaurant, you know exactly how much you're paying. When you buy a car, you see the price tag. When you hire a personal trainer, they tell you upfront what it'll cost. But financial advisors? They'll slap a tiny percentage on your portfolio and hope you never do the math. And the worst part? They don't even have to work harder when your money grows. Most of them are just parking your money in index funds without doing anything groundbreaking, which, by the way, you could do yourself for free. So why exactly are we tipping these guys hundreds of thousands of dollars just for pressing a few buttons? If you don't want to be part of your financial advisor's Let's Buy a New Tesla fund, here's what you do. Look for financial advisors that charge flat fees. Some advisors charge a fixed amount per year, $2,000 or so, which makes way more sense. If you only need occasional financial advice, pay per session, like a normal human being. You can also consider using automated investing platforms that charge tiny fees and manage simple portfolios better than most advisors. If you want to be free from this mistake, what do? Text your financial advisor right now and ask, how do you get paid? If they hesitate, they know you just got smart. Remember, every dollar saved on fees is a dollar that stays invested and compounds for your future, not theirs. So, we've established that paying a financial advisor 1% sounds small until you realize it's basically a luxury tax for breathing near your own money. But what if I told you there's another mistake that can cost you even more, and the only thing you have to do to lose thousands of dollars is absolutely nothing? Mistake number 6, the $1 million procrastination trap. If you've ever said, I'll start investing when I have more money, congratulations, you've just lost $1 million. No, seriously, waiting to invest is like waiting until you're fit to go to the gym. It makes absolutely no sense. And yet, millions of people keep making this mistake because they don't understand how expensive procrastination really is. Let's say you're at a restaurant and the waiter asks, would you like your meal now, or should we bring it out in 10 years? Obviously you want it now, because waiting doesn't make it better. It just makes you hungry and regretful. Well, guess what? Money works the exact same way. Except when you wait to invest, you're not just missing out, you're actively throwing away hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And the worst part is that you won't even notice it happening. Still don't believe me? Let me give a scenario. Meet Sarah and Mike. Both are 25 years old, both want to retire at 65, and both plan to invest $5,000 a year. But here's the difference. Sarah starts investing immediately. Mike waits 10 years before he starts investing. Fast forward to retirement. Sarah has $1.2 million. Mike just has $600,000. Yes, you read that right. Mike invested the same amount but ended up with half as much money, all because he decided to wait. Don't be like Mike. You might be thinking, okay, but I'll just invest more later to catch up. To be honest, you won't. Here's why. You'll have to invest way more money to make up for lost time. Life will get in the way. Bills, kids, impulse buying, you name it. You'll never feel ready. Because there's always an excuse. Investing isn't about waiting until you have a six-figure salary. It's about starting with whatever you can as early as possible. Because every year you wait is money you'll never get back. If you're watching now and thinking, oh no, I've already wasted time, don't panic. Just follow these steps. Step 1. Start investing now. Even if it's just $10 a week, get your money into the market ASAP. And guess what? You don't need a PhD in finance. Just buy a simple index fund and let time do the work. Step 2. Automate it. Set up automatic contributions so you don't have to think about it. Treat it like a Netflix subscription, but for getting rich. Step 3. Use a compound interest calculator. Plug in some numbers and watch how much you've already lost by waiting. That should be enough motivation. Here's the brutal truth. Every year you wait, you're handing future you a bill for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And trust me, future you is gonna be pissed. So if you don't want 65-year-old you cursing your name, start investing today. As we discussed, putting off investing is basically the most expensive form of laziness. But there's another mistake that can quietly drain your wealth. And this one has nothing to do with stocks, savings, or budgeting. In fact, this mistake might already be living in your house. Mistake number 5, the red flag nobody talks about. Love is a beautiful thing, but let's be real. Love alone won't pay the bills. Everyone talks about red flags in relationships, things like bad communication, trust issues, or chewing with their mouth open. But there's one red flag nobody talks about, and it could cost you way more than just heartbreak. Marrying someone with bad credit or poor financial literacy. Now, before you panic, no, you don't have to marry a billionaire. But if your partner treats credit cards like free money and thinks investing means buying lottery tickets, you might be in trouble. So why is this such a big deal? Imagine you're on a romantic cruise with your spouse. The sun is shining, the drinks are flowing, life is good. Then halfway through the trip, you realize the boat has a leak. You're paddling like crazy to keep things afloat. But every time you scoop water out, your partner pours more in. That's what marrying someone with bad credit or reckless money habits feels like. No matter how much you save or invest, if your partner is racking up debt, making bad financial decisions, or ignoring their bills, it drags you both down. And here's where it gets really messy. Some people think, well, my partner's credit score is their problem, not mine. Not true. Even though you don't inherit their credit score, it can still haunt your financial future in the following ways. Through joint loans and mortgages. Need a car loan or mortgage? Their bad credit could either disqualify you or force you into higher interest rates, costing you tens of thousands over time. Shared debt disaster. If your partner has a pile of debt, it doesn't just disappear when you get married. It becomes part of your financial reality, the cosigner trap. If they can't qualify for loans or credit cards, they might ask you to co-sign. And if they don't pay, guess who's on the hook? You see the picture now, right? But there's even more. It's not just about their credit score, it's about their financial habits. You see, credit scores can be fixed, but bad money habits? Those are harder to change. Imagine this. You're saving for retirement. They're impulse buying random Amazon gadgets at 2 a.m. Or worse, you're trying to invest and build wealth while they're taking payday loans and maxing out credit cards. Without basic money management skills, you'll constantly be working against each other. And if you think love will fix it, let me tell you straight up, it won't. Money problems don't just drain your bank account. They drain your energy, patience, and relationship. At first, it's just small arguments. You say, "Did you really need to buy another pair of sneakers?" And they say, "Well, it was on sale." Fast forward a few years, and now you're fighting about rent, debt, and bills. And before you know it, financial stress becomes a full-time problem in your marriage. This is why it's so important to have money conversations before things get serious. So, how do you make sure money doesn't ruin your relationship? Step 1. Talk about money early. Before you say I do, have the money talk. Ask the tough questions. What's your credit score? Do you have debt? How do you feel about saving and investing? If they break out in a cold sweat, that's a sign. Step 2. Set financial goals together. You don't need identical money habits, but you do need a shared vision. Saving for a house, paying off debt, investing, make a plan as a team. Step 3. Encourage growth. If your partner lacks financial literacy, don't shame them. Help them learn. Read books, watch videos, and build wealth together. Because here's the thing, the right partner should be helping you grow, not holding you back. Now, if you're already married, know that marrying someone with bad credit or poor financial habits don't mean your relationship is doomed. But ignoring it does. Think of marriage like a team sport. You don't need both players to be perfect, but you do need to play the same game and move toward the same goal. Otherwise, you're just passing the ball while they're scoring for the other team. Now, some mistakes drain your bank account slowly. Others, they hit you like a financial wrecking ball and leave you wondering how you didn't see it coming. And this next one? It usually starts with just 3 innocent words. I got you. Mistake number 4. The money trap that starts with I got you. Lending money to some friends is like feeding a stray cat. Do it once and they'll keep coming back. We've all been there. Your friend hits you with the "Hey bro, can I borrow some cash? I'll pay you back next week, I swear." And in that moment, you ignore every financial red flag because you're a good friend. You lend them the money, and then silence. Weeks turn into months. Suddenly, they have amnesia. And now every time you see them, you're both pretending that money doesn't exist. It doesn't even always have to be grand. It could even happen as simply as this. You're at dinner with a friend. The bill comes and they give you the look. You know the one. Yo, can you cover me? I'll hit you back next payday. So, you pay for them. Fast forward to next payday, and suddenly they've developed selective memory. But guess what they do remember? To buy new sneakers, concert tickets, and overpriced iced coffee. But your money? Still missing. At this point, you have 2 options. Ask for the money back and look like the bad guy. Stay quiet and add them to your mental list of people who can't be trusted with $20. Either way, your friendship just got weird. And the worst part is that this happens way more than it should. You might be thinking, but what if they really need it? Sure, but here's why lending money to friends is usually a bad idea. Emotions cloud judgment. When your friend is pleading for money like it's a Netflix drama, it's hard to think logically. You ignore red flags, like the fact that they've borrowed money from 3 other people before you. You're not a bank. Unlike a bank, you can't charge late fees, repossess their car, or send debt collectors to their house. Well, you could, but that's called a felony. It strains relationships. At first, they avoid you because they feel guilty. Then you avoid them because you're annoyed. Next thing you know, you're both ducking behind aisles in the grocery store just to avoid awkward conversations. At this point, was the $50 even worth it? So how do you handle a friend who suddenly sees you as their personal ATM? Rule number 1, only lend what you can afford to lose. Treat it like a mysterious disappearing act. If they pay you back, great. If not, you won't lose sleep over it. Rule number 2, set clear terms. If you must lend money, make things official. Write it down, set deadlines, maybe even charge interest just to make them feel the pain banks give us daily. Rule number 3, offer non-monetary help. Instead of handing over cash, help them budget, find a side hustle, or direct them to actual financial resources. Because let's be honest, some people don't need a loan, they need better life decisions. Rule number 4, learn to say no. Saying I can't right now is not a crime. If they guilt trip you, just hit them with, "Man, I'd love to help, but I just put all my money into an NFT of a potato," or "I'm on a strict budget where I only lend money to people who actually pay it back." Okay, that was a little harsh, but you could say, "I wish I could help, but the way my checking account is set up." Yeah, that's a no from me. If they get mad, they were never really your friend. They were just a broke person with good acting skills. Look, I'm not saying you should never help friends, but there's a difference between helping and enabling. Think of it like this. If your friend's boat is sinking, handing them a bucket might not solve the problem. They need to fix the boat. Otherwise, they'll just keep sinking and dragging you down with them. So instead of being their emergency fund, Help them figure out why they're always broke in the first place. If money has ever ruined a friendship for you, congratulations, you've just learned an expensive life lesson. But while some mistakes cost you money because of other people, this next one drains your bank account all on its own. And the worst part is that it is a mistake that is very easy to fix. And once you realize it, you'll actually be mad at yourself. Mistake number 3. Ignoring a stupidly easy money trick. If saving money feels like a daily battle, then you're doing it wrong. For some reason, a lot of people love to suffer. They try to save money manually like it's some kind of Olympic event, tracking every expense, overthinking every purchase, and at the end of the month, poof, the money's gone. But here's the thing. Saving money doesn't have to be this hard. In fact, it should be effortless. Let's be real. When most people say, "I'll save whatever's left over at the end of the month," what they really mean is, "I will definitely spend all of my money and pretend this conversation never happened." And that's exactly what happens. Because guess what? Something always comes up. A new gadget, a random sale, a weekend trip you absolutely had to take. And just like that, your savings plan turns into a ghost story. I mean, a lot of financial advice is based on sheer willpower. Just stop buying lattes. Track every expense in a spreadsheet. Stop breathing, oxygen costs money. Listen, if willpower actually worked, we'd all have six-packs and million-dollar savings accounts. But we don't, because willpower is a terrible long-term strategy. Here's what actually happens when you try to manually save money. 1. You start off motivated. 2. Then life happens. An emergency, a sale, a new iPhone release. 3. By the end of the month, your savings plan is in shambles. And this cycle repeats every month until you wake up at 65 years old, still wondering why your bank account is allergic to money. But there's a stupidly easy solution to all of this. Stop manually saving. Start automating it. Automation is basically the cruise control of personal finance. It takes the thinking and temptation out of the equation. Here's why it works. It removes temptation. The money disappears from your account before you even see it. Out of sight, out of mind. It creates a habit. You don't have to remember to save. It just happens. It makes you rich while you do nothing. Your money grows in the background like a well-trained houseplant. If you're ready to finally stop struggling with saving, here's what you do. Step 1. Set up automatic transfers. Schedule automatic transfers from your checking to your savings right after payday. Step 2. Use a high-yield savings account. This way, your savings actually yield interest instead of just sitting there like a sad, lifeless pile of cash. Step 3. Leverage apps and tools. Apps like Acorns, Digit, or even your bank's features can round up spare change and save it without you noticing. Step 4. Automate retirement contributions. Set up auto transfers to your 401k, IRA, or investment accounts so you're growing wealth while doing absolutely nothing. Still think you can just remember to save every month? Let's see how that works out. Imagine you plan to save $500 a month manually. 1 month, you forget. The next month, an emergency pops up. The month after that, you spend it on things you swear you needed. Fast forward 10 years, and you've saved half of what you planned. That's $30,000 in lost savings, and if you had invested it, you just kissed 6 figures goodbye. And all because you didn't want to click one button and automate your savings. So unless you enjoy financial stress, missed savings goals, and regretting your life choices, just click the button, automate your savings. We've established that saving money doesn't have to be a daily struggle. You just have to stop making it harder than it needs to be. But let's be real. No amount of saving is going to help if you're willingly signing up for a financial black hole that drains your wealth every single month. And the worst part? You've probably signed up for it thinking you are making a smart financial decision. That leads us to mistake number 2, the smart financial decision. So, some mistakes are obvious, like buying sushi from a gas station or texting your ex at 2 a.m. Others, they disguise themselves as responsible, smart financial moves, and that's what makes them so dangerous. This one is so common that people do it without thinking twice. They sign the papers, take the keys, and drive off the lot, feeling like they just made a great financial decision. But in reality, they just committed to one of the biggest money traps ever invented. Let's break it down. Imagine this. You buy a brand new iPhone for $1,000, and the moment you unbox it, it's only worth $700. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's exactly what happens when you buy a brand new car. Except instead of losing $300, you're losing thousands. A new car loses 20 to 30% of its value in the first year. Within 5 years, it's worth almost half of what you paid. So, by the time you've finished making payments, you've overpaid for something that's worth way less than what you originally agreed to. If you did this with another investment, you'd be called a terrible investor. But with cars, people do it every single day and even praise themselves for it. But wait, it gets worse. If you finance the car, you're not just paying for the car itself. You're paying interest on an asset that's actively losing value. Let's do some quick math. Average new car price, $48,000. With a 5-year loan at 6% interest, you'll pay $7,700 in interest alone. This brings the total amount spent on the car purchase to $55,700. But wait for it, what's the car's value after 5 years? Around $24,000. Translation? By the time you're done paying for the car, you've spent over $55,000 on something worth half of that. At least when you finance a house, the value goes up over time. With a car, you're literally throwing money away. Think your monthly car payment is manageable? Think again. The average car payment today is $735 per month. Some people are even paying over $2,500 for their cars on a monthly basis. If you invested that money instead, you'd have $58,000 in just 5 years. That's a down payment on a house, a retirement fund, or financial freedom. Instead, people are locking themselves into a debt cycle that never ends. Let's say you even actually pay off the car. This should be the best financial moment ever. No more payments, just pure savings. But what do most people do at this moment? They just trade it in for a newer model. Start the loan process all over again and keep making car payments for the rest of their lives. If you keep repeating this cycle, guess what? You're never actually done paying for a car. It's like finishing a marathon and then immediately signing up for another one. Voluntarily. At this point, your car isn't just draining your wallet, it's actively holding you back from financial freedom. So, what should you do instead? Buy used, pay at once. A 2 to 3-year-old car has already taken the biggest depreciation hit, but still has plenty of life left. Save before you spend. If you must finance, make a larger down payment and choose a shorter loan term to reduce interest. Reassess your needs. Do you really need a brand new car, or are you paying extra for status? A used car will get you there just as fast. Consider alternative transportation. If possible, public transit, carpooling, or even biking can free up serious cash for things that actually grow in value. Let's be honest. A lot of people buy new cars for emotional reasons, not logical ones. It's a status symbol. It feels like an achievement. You want something nice to drive. But instead of overpaying for something that loses value, choose smarter alternatives, drive what you can afford, and stop making the car industry richer at your expense. Now, we've covered expensive cars, but at least you still have something to show for it. A car gets you from point A to point B, right? But what if I told you there's another mistake that's even worse? Because this one doesn't just take your money, it gives you absolutely nothing in return. No assets, no investments, not even a reliable way to get home at the end of the night. And the wildest part? Millions of people willingly throw their hard-earned cash into this black hole every single day. Mistake number 1. Setting your money on fire and paying for the lighter. At least when you finance a car, you still have a car. But with this next mistake, you're literally spending money on nothing. Less than nothing, actually. Because not only does it disappear instantly, but it also takes your health, your productivity, and sometimes your dignity along with it. I'm talking about cigarettes, alcohol, gambling, and other wallet-draining vices. Or as I like to call them, the ultimate financial sinkholes. You might think, oh, come on, it's just a few drinks, a little fun at the casino, or a harmless cigarette break. Yeah, well, let's do some math. A pack of cigarettes costs about $9 in the US, but in Australia, try $30. $30 per pack. For that price, the cigarette better comes with Wi-Fi, a Spotify premium membership, and the ability to pay your rent. Let's break this down. 1 pack a day. $9 times 365 days equals $3,285 per year. 10 years of smoking, over $32,000 up in smoke. 20 years, that's a down payment on a house. A lifetime? You basically could have retired early, but instead got a lifetime supply of coughing fits. What of recreational drugs? Depending on the substance, you could be spending hundreds or even thousands per month. And let's be real, nobody has ever looked at their bank account and said, wow, that was a fantastic investment, after blowing $500 on substances that made them think they could freestyle rap. But why are these habits financially dangerous? These aren't one-time purchases. They're recurring expenses that drain your money slowly but relentlessly. They don't build wealth. They cost more than you realize. $10 here, $20 there. Suddenly, your wallet is as empty as your fridge at the end of the month. They create long-term damage, higher insurance premiums, medical bills, and unexpected expenses. They rob you of financial freedom. If you invested $300 a month instead of spending it on cigarettes, alcohol, and gambling, you'd have $150,000 in 20 years. And that's before considering compound interest. A lot of people justify these expenses by saying, it's just part of my social life. You know what else could be part of your social life? Not being broke. How then do you break free from the financial sinkhole? Write down what you're spending on these habits. Redirect that money toward literally anything that builds your future. Find healthier alternatives. And if you feel stuck in a bad cycle, get help. There's zero shame in reaching out to professionals, support groups, or friends who actually care about your success. If you've made it this far, congrats! You now know 7 massive money mistakes and, more importantly, how to avoid them. But avoiding mistakes is only half the equation. The real question is, how do you actually build wealth? That's exactly what I cover in my next video. 7.5 passive income ideas to easily make $500 daily. If you want to start making money while you sleep and finally escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle, then look out for my next video.